Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Daddy Chess and welcome back to another Day Art Survival video. Today we will actually not going to be playing the game, but instead we will actually read all your feedbacks. Well, not really all, but more like we will read your feedbacks and discuss about it because I don't know if, like the developers actually read any of this, right? Like everything or, like basically I just kind of want to make video about your feedbacks over here and also like discussing about that as well, from the perspective of mine as well, just like discussing stuff, right? And this is in the DR official Discord server, the Discord group. Basically, you can go inside, enter this server like freely from the in-game. There is actually a link in-game that will take you to this area over here. Um, but yeah, okay, so I guess you can start then the feedback. This is supposed to be like you can also put feedbacks over here. I kind of forgot how you do it, probably from suggestions. I think I'm not entirely sure, honestly. Yeah, like there's also suggestion list over here, but yeah, I'm kind of unsure, honestly. Like, how do you actually um put new ones, right? Maybe from I don't know. Yeah, I think they already closed this one, right? Um, I don't know why. Maybe they kind of have had enough of that. But yeah, anyway, we'll also take a look at the suggestions list as well, but that will be for another video on its own. So yeah, like basically reviewing your suggestions and see if it will be feasible or not, right? But today we'll actually talk about the feedback as well. So yeah, apparently they already closed this one. You can no longer put any feedback as at the time this video is released, I believe. Well, at the time I'm recording as well, you cannot actually already do that anymore. I guess we can start then. I will start from the bottom to the top. This is the first one from Six Pack Barbarian. Okay. Pet UX or UI rating 5 out of 10. Please change position of drop all button. New location makes us click it randomly even when we don't want to. Okay, so I guess there's that. Based on his opinion, change the position of drop all button. If you're an old player, you will feel a little bit strange when you want to pick up and drop all because now the drop all buttons is actually in the different spot than in the previous version, like in the old update. So yeah, this might be a little bit annoying for some people that already used to tapping on certain place, right, or certain area. So yeah, there's that. I kind of feel that myself as well. New location makes us click it randomly. Okay, so I think this is all in general, right? They kind of changed the game to which when you tap once in any area, you will be immediately, directed to moving towards that area, right? Let's say you're click on this on here, right, on the map, and then for instance your character is over here. If you tap once over here, then your character will start moving from from this place to the target area, right? And that's kind of annoying, right? So yeah, um, in the old version, they required two taps. Like the first tap will be the direction, like just to show how long the distance is, or like basically yeah, just to show the distance as well, right? And then if you tap again the second time, then your character will start moving. So I guess double tapping actually works back then. I'm not sure why they changed it so that one tap then you move immediately. I'm not entirely sure why that's like that. I don't know if their intention is so that if you use any vehicle that use fuel, then you will always use up your fuel, right? Because if you tap once and then you start moving, you already lose some fuel, right? Maybe that's their intention. I'm not sure. Just to creep out your fuel. Yeah, I'm not sure actually. But yeah, there's that. I guess that's actually a nice feedback there. Yeah, like the drop all button, I guess. Change it back to the previous one, I guess, like the location. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know what changed. That makes it so that now the drop all button is moved at certain, at different area. In the UI basically or UX. But yeah, there's that. Um, Okay, here we go. The next one, oh, it's a little bit lengthy from Flooper 3, okay. September 26th. Okay, so when this was submitted, I believe the old version is still there, like the nerf has not come just yet, I believe. So yeah, maybe because of that as well, they decided to turn off this so that people don't just get angry over here, right? And said like using like uncivilized words or something like that, right? So yeah, first I understand the polar nerf and see how logical. Oh, actually, never mind. It's already been nerfed, I guess, because the person know about that, and I understand. Yeah, and the person knows about the polar nerf. Okay, and see how logically an event item can be this OP. I guess, yeah. I also kind of understand as well because it was actually quite OP. But the nerf is kind of huge as well. Reducing the damage as well as the armor itself. You can always reduce the amount of armor, like not that big. Like let's say reduced by minus 100. In the next patch again reduced by minus 100 and see how things going out, right? Like when you want to balance things out, you don't just take a huge chunks out of it. You take it small, step by step, right? Um, so yeah, that's just my opinion as well. Yeah, also I understand as well how because it was actually quite OP, the extra damage as well as the armor itself is quite thick armor, and then the fact that it is also an event item, right? You can only get polar armor during Christmas event, which is in December, right? Around the time around December basically. And when you just play the game like me, like I played, I think, last year, I think, earlier last year, like in January, right? When I restarted my progress, and the event is already over, right? Like just barely made it. And I would have to wait for another 11 months until, um, the event actually came back, and I can see why as well, right? Because it's an event item. Like let's say you're a new player that played in February or in May, like June, like other months, right? And then you have to wait literally, at the most 1 year or 11 months until the event actually came back as well, right? So that's a long wait, and I feel like that's a little bit not balanced, right? So yeah, I can understand as well, like the logically, right? About event item. The problem, it has been nerfed into unusability. Actually, you can still use that. I will be putting more parts into the big update review, part 8, I believe. Part 8, we will actually have an episode in which I will attempt to beat the mining area, just basically go mining in Magneto, right? To get the titanium ore and see how difficult um, the combat is, against the hornets, the wasps, the scorpions and spiders as well, while also using only the polar armor that had been nerfed. Um, a kind of spoiler, it's I can see the difference now. It is a little bit more difficult, but it is not that I will die, like after I enter that. It's not like that, right? Again, I would say it's quite still easy for me. Yeah, you just use PKM and then the polar armor as well. You can still two shot stuff. Like the scorpion and spider, you can one shot that. As for the wasp and the hornet, you can double shot using the PKM as well, which is again, it's not unusable, it's actually still usable as well. Nobody will use this for a mere 50% damage bonus with average armor. Actually, I will. I'm actually using this because I haven't crafted the Prospector's armor just yet, because it actually takes a bit while for me to craft that. It needs titanium or the titanium alloy as well, I believe. And I just waited for the part 8 to happen, right? So that I have the basically I'm mining only for that video, so that I'm waiting basically for that, which will come about in the middle of October, I believe. So yeah, there's that. Um, 50%. I mean, that's still something though. 50% extra damage. Okay, let's think about it this way. What other armor that actually gives this unique, right? This uniqueness. Um, I don't think there's other armor as well. So the fact that this is the only armor that will enhance your damage, that's something actually. If you ask me personally, but yeah, um, it's still unique, I guess. But because it's the only, literally the only armor that can give extra damage. Okay, the next one, number two, solution. Return the 100% damage bonus and lower the armor to 1,000 to 1,500 or even lower. It is a high stakes armor and should be used as such. Um, the thing is that I think the problem is the damage, mainly just because how OP it is, compared to, yeah, like the damage from the weapons are actually increased, right? In the, like the previous version, I think, and this update as well. I think it got changed, right? Like it got increased by a lot. So I think the main problem is the damage actually. So returning the 100% damage bonus is probably not the solution here. Because again, this is the only armor that increase your damage, right? So it shouldn't be that high, right, on its own. I think 50% damage is fine. The armor quite fine as well. I mean, currently the armor sits on 1600, right? That's actually the same armor as the Hunter Corpse. If you don't know what Hunter Corpse is, it is an armor that you can get from Halloween event. It is also about 1600 or 1500 as well, depending on if you have the perk or not, right? Because I do have the perk that increase the armor, then for me it's about 1600 and something. But yeah, around that number. So it's kind of the same. Also, it's kind of the same as steel armor as well. But yeah, I believe steel armor also gives you this amount, right? So I think it's fine though for the armor. Um, the player has been consistently nerfed in the last two updates. Problem: if the focus on combat is meant to be lowered, you have succeeded. But if you are attempting to focus on grinding and quests, then you have failed. Um, yeah, actually, I noticed this as well. When we, I think part two, we talk about the new quests, right? And there I said that the quests have been changed. It's now a little bit, more engaging, right? By that I mean by the like the various quests, right? So that there's a lot of various variants of quests that you can choose, that will appear to you. But the problem with quests is that um, the reward is not that like that appealing to me, honestly. Like you go a little bit far away for the location for the quests, and then after finishing that, using the weapons ammos for combats, like it's the kind of difficult combats as well. And your reward is only like what, like 1,000 iron nuts. Is that like worth it, compared to just selling stuff to the buyer, in which the buyer now has 16,000, like, at least, right? In the train area, like 16,000, 18,000, 20,000, right, for the blue faction as well. Like, is it actually worth it to do that only for a mere 1,000, 2,000, while you can, just basically sell stuff to the NPC, right? I don't think so. So yeah, when attempting to focus on grinding and quests, then you have failed. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Of especially for the quests one, because um, you give a lot of various quests, but the thing is that the what is it? The reward is not worth it, honestly. To turn our focus on grinding, then the consistently increasing cost of crafting and reduced XP gain is having the exact opposite impact. Um, Actually, I don't think the developers wants us to do grinding, like crafting anymore. Um, so I think their decision to increase the cost for crafting is actually right, because they don't want this game to be, they are crafting, right? This is they are survival. You survive basically. You craft what's necessary only, right? You don't craft like millions of stuff, that you will not use everything, right? Like not in, a million years you will actually use all of those stuff, right? Um, I mean, a million years is probably a little bit exaggerated, but let's say 5 years, right? Like the next 5 years, let's say you craft, I don't know, like a million, I don't know, like fat, a million soap, a million stew, stew meat, anything, right? Will you actually use that, like eat all of those, or have use any of those, right? Like those millions of items, in the next 5 years? Probably not, right? Probably you will skip going on crafting, right? Instead of lowering that number, you probably even keep crafting and create lots of those items as well, right? Which is a little bit weird, honestly. That's why I believe their decision to increase the cost for crafting um, is actually the right decision, so that you don't just only craft, right, in the game, because the game is not about crafting, it's about surviving, right? Survival basically. So yeah, on the other hand, trading has been buffed, and the specialist has much better crafting than doing it yourself. Only you need reputation, and for reputation, you need to do quests. Yeah, this becomes a little bit of like a loop, right? A cycle, because when you want to do, specialist, then you will need reputation. And you get reputation by doing quests, right? But do you want to do quests if the reward is, only a mere 1,000, currencies, right? Probably not worth it. But the fact that you kind of need the specialist, one way or another, then you can't really do anything about it, right? Yeah, you will eventually have to do the quests, like probably a little bit, disappointed as well, right? That you have to do those with, like the reward is not worthy at all. um, Trading has been buffed. Yes, I believe that, because of the NPC. Now you can get, like I said, 16,000 at least, at the train area, and up to 20,000, right? And that's actually a lot compared to the previous one. I believe the previous one, you can really get that a lot, right? Like what, like 2,000, 3,000? Not even 5,000, I don't think. Like it was quite bad, right? But now the amount is increased. I guess that's, I would say that's a little bit too good though. I kind of doubt that this will last, forever. I kind of have, I think the dev will eventually nerf this again. So like the buyer probably will be capped at 10,000 instead of 16 to 20,000. So yeah, expect that. If that actually happened, then I will not be surprised, because currently you can actually get a lot of currency just by selling stuff. Anyway, so in conclusion, you need to do many quests in different towns. Usually barely stockpiling anything, only to unlock items that could maybe boost combat a little bit, even though the focus isn't on combat. Overall, 3 out of 10, the reduced focus on combat isn't bad, it just needs a counterbalance in a better or more rewarding grinding scene. Either make combat easier or stop nerfing the other parts of the game. Um, yeah, I don't think that will happen, the nerfing one. I think they already kind of said about this as well. Um, they will nerf things that the players use basically. Like the players use the most, they will nerf that heavily basically, so that you can focus on other items that is actually just as good, right? But it got overshadowed by the good things that is other items, right? The pre-nerf stuff. Like I would say that the prospector armor is great, but because there's polar armor, then why would you use the prospector, right? So yeah, I guess the developers kind of think like that. The problem is not the prospector armor not strong enough, but more like the what is it? The polar armor is a little bit too OP, right? That's why they need to nerf that as well. I guess there is always a reason behind all these nerfs. Basically, like they kind of want you to, like to spread the use of items, right? Because they created all these new items, so their expectation to be you, the players, or we, us, actually, use that items, right? So yeah, there's that. Oh, it's already 20 minutes already. Next, your average toaster. As one of the fans that also play the game, should I say the new update has been one mixed biomes. The pros, since the trade countship's increased, now there is something that's worth to be sold instead of meat or raw hide. And survivor-based reputation requirement now has lowered which is nice. Also, knowing that many price has been lowered so many player can buy more from Survivor Camp, really nice. Yeah, that's actually, the great stuff, right? I think the big W for this is the fact that the NPC trader and buyer is now, the amount is increased. The currency they have has been increased as well. And I believe some parts also got lowered or even stay the same price, which is always great, right? Like basically the price is the same, but you get more money, right? So and more items that you can buy as well. So that's always a win, right? So yeah, there's that. Again, like I said as well, this is actually a little bit too good. I'm not sure if they will actually keep it like that forever. I believe this will get nerfed as well at some point, right? Especially knowing that the players now just log in and then sell stuff and then log off, right? And then just keep repeating that 4 times a day. That's a little bit like I don't know. That seems like out of purpose, right? So yeah, the if the devs see it like that, then they will probably nerf that as well. Introduction of gas mask not using percentage and instead using turn really help player who need to dismantle vehicle or looting the body inside the city. Yeah, that's also nice as well. Back then you cannot really know how long you will search the city or loot, and then you will also you basically cannot tell how much energy, not energy, how much radiation points you will get just by looting, right? But now it kind of is mentioned there before you actually doing it, so you can kind of like a little bit of notice, right? Like after searching you will be inflicted by, let's say, 30 radiation points, right? So do you want to proceed or not, right? So that's just basically like that. Which is always nice. That's also a little bit of buff, I guess, into knowing how long you will search and how many points you will get, right? However, there is some cons that I've been seeing on the game lately. Bandits on higher level tend to be stronger, harder, and deadlier. The beasts, ants, and mutants has become increasingly hard for newer player. Not to mention that in some bandit camp inside city, even musket, revolver, and molotov has their damage multiplied more than that what we could get. The gun armor transportation durability declining too fast. Okay, here let's take it bit by bit. Um, Bandits is stronger for higher level. I guess that's just normal, right? Like if you level up, then you will face more difficult bandits. Then I think that's kind of fair, honestly. But yeah, I mean, I'm like old as in you can kind of say fat, but not really. I mean, I only played like about what 2 3 years now. Yeah, like that's I would say that's not fat yet. But I kind of know, right? Because I kind of already like old player as well, right? So I already have a lot of stuff, right? I have lots of rifle ammo. I have stuff to repair my armor. I have like I have everything basically. So I can't really see how I will not waste ammo will affect me, right? Because I have many. But for newer players, I guess that just increase their level. Like let's say they're level 60, now they're level 70, and then they start to encounter bandits that actually is tough, right? So how would they feel about that, right? Of course, that's difficult, right? But then again, I guess that's just kind of normal. I guess it comes down to the strategy that you will play. Like always use your pets as your tanks. Like make sure that your pets are healthy and not hungry when you enter any combat, so that they can be included, right? And then also like check on your armor as well, like you want that to be high, right? Higher than 75% durability. Yeah, like basically just to come prepared, right? Especially if you play this online nowadays, you can just buy stuff from other players, right? Like players, other players will craft ammo, and then you can buy that, the material as well. You can either craft or buy from other players. I think in online mode this is still okay. Offline mode, in which you have to do everything by yourself, that's probably a little bit more difficult, right? Much more difficult, I would say, right? But for online mode, you can still get those stuff from other players as well. So I guess that's not really a problem nowadays, right? Still not really a problem, I think. Also know yourself, right? If you don't have like strong weapons, then do not engage in the bandit base inside city, right? Because they are actually much more difficult than the bandits you can find on the road, or and in the wasteland in general, right? Like the bandit base inside the city, yeah, that they are actually quite difficult. So yeah, I guess you kind of have to prepare yourself for doing that, right? um Gun armor transportation durability declining too fast. I'm not sure about this one, the gun and armor. Okay, so here for the reference, the part 8 of big update review that I will post will revolve around mining in Magneto, right? And I would say I kind of have to repair my armor like once every 10 yeah, like once every 10 combats, which is not bad if you ask me. Yeah, like every 10 combats I will have to repair, right? That's actually not bad, considering you can actually um it can be worse, right? Like every battle, every combat you have to repair, that's actually the worst thing, right, to have. So yeah, I would say it's still balanced. Transportation durability declining too fast, no, I don't think so, this one. Maybe because I have the perk, I'm not sure. But my crash, the vehicle, the truck that I'm using, that I'm driving to move into cities, it's actually lasts longer, honestly. Like 25%. It actually takes up a while to to waste to exhaust those durability. It actually will need a long travel before I reach to that point. Also, the fact that repairing the truck as well is not as difficult right now, considering that you can get the materials to repair that from the NPC as well, which is now much more easier, right? So I think that's also kind of balanced, honestly. Declining too fast, I don't think so. Um, well, unless you like to like, also this can also be like some kind of psychological stuff as well, right? Because you're enjoying, let's say you're looting cities, you're enjoying looting, right? And suddenly you have looted for about an hour, and then like your vehicle now at minus 70% durability, probably. Well, probably not, more like 20-30% or something like that. That can also be like this some kind of psychological, right? You think that it is too fast, but the fact that you also had traveled, actually, like you have spent hours just for looting, right? um, I think it's still fine though for me anyway, but yeah. Also the fact that, yeah, like I said, the repairing for vehicle, you can actually repairing vehicle, you can get the materials quite easily nowadays anyway from the NPC. Many NPC like Comrade in Trouble, Bring Back Scientist, Task, Cash, it's just too far away. Yeah, I agree with this one. Yeah, like I actually agree with this one, especially with the rewards that are not worth it. Compared to the distance that we have to travel, I agree with this one. Too far away, yes. But I think the problem is not the too far away. They can actually do this too far away, but what I want is the rewards to be more worthy, right? Like I kind of get it. The developers want us to travel, right? To survive in the wilderness, right? Which is always great, but the fact that the reward is not worth it, then makes it a little bit disappointing, right? It's not the distance that is too far away, in my opinion. um, it's just the reward that is not worth it. But yeah, I also agree that sometimes it can get too far away, and it's not worth it for the reward. But the main problem is the reward, in my opinion. During the last 274 update, that was the first update to let me taste the good old injuries. Now having polar pair berserk damage reduced, only making things worse. Knowing that Halloween event won't be so much fun, only being pain in the bum. Um, is literal hell for new player 2 out of 10? Well, I mean, I'm not new player, so I cannot say something about that, right? Well, I can like right now I can just hop into the game and I start new account, new profile, I mean, in the offline mode and see how this goes. I can actually do that, and the thing is that so that I can rate that myself as new player, right? But yeah, I can do that like right now, but maybe not now. Maybe in the future I will go back into the offline series. So yeah, I'm not gonna reset my online mode though. That's nowhere near possible that I will actually do that. Um, because I've been playing long enough, right? I've collected, gathered all the materials, mostly myself, and yeah, just basically I just want to keep my stuff first, just so that the grinds all these years not just go into waste, right? During the last, okay, this one, polar pair, polar armor, berserk damage reduced, yeah, for a Halloween event. I believe the Halloween event will also get a little bit overwhelming, I would say. By the looks of things, I think the Halloween monsters, or like the quests, will actually be much more harder, more difficult, I think. But we'll see, right? We'll see together. Also, I'm going to cover that as well. Like doing all the Halloween quests, I will also cover that as well. But yeah, do I have more time? Let's see, 10 more minutes. Okay, I have still 10 more minutes. Let's see a little bit. Let's actually take a look the one that is a little bit short. Okay, here we go. Flooper 3. Oh, this is the same person. 610 because I have sent even event items. 3 of 10 if I didn't, they are all strangely OP. And the only reason why the late game isn't so hard. Okay, I guess that's the pre-nerf, right? For the what is it, the event items, I guess it's, well, 7 out of 10 for me. The game before the casino is much better. And why do cooking recipe and sulfur or saltpeter are so hard to find now? Madhouse and infected buildings loot is nerfed horribly, make them valuable and 100% can find again. um Actually, they are quite valuable already, the loot. You can get, okay, here we go. Every encounter in the madhouse or infected buildings, you will always get the legendary crates. So yeah, that's actually great. There's a lot of stuff there, which we actually will cover in part 7, if I remember correctly, about that. So yeah, I mean, uh, still valuable. 100% can find again. This is nice, but I don't think this is a great idea for now because there are lots of cities and towns, right? I get it that once you clear all of them, like literally all of them, then you cannot loot again, right? And that's the problem, right? But the fact is that there's like thousands of towns in the game. Um, I would say that you you don't need to have it, like available to search again. Um, realistically speaking, um, before you actually finish looting every single city in game, the game will probably already be updated to the next big update, and then that it will all refresh again, right? So yeah, that's like my take on that. Realistically speaking, right? Like, do you actually want to loot everything though? That's the question, right? Like, I doubt, like, even I don't think there is any player right now that already cleared every single city that is listed across the map. I doubt that. And like I said as well, just before you finished looting everything, the game will already be updated to the next big update, and it will already be reset again. So I don't think that's necessary to have um, loads to be available to search again. But yeah, cooking recipe so for saltpeter so hard to find now. Cooking recipe, what? Cooking recipe, do you mean like cooking the recipe like the book or what? Because you can kind of just see others, right? You can actually craft the cooking yourself, and then you will unlock that yourself. You don't need the cooking recipe to know a specific recipe. So yeah, sulfur saltpeter are so hard to find now. This one, I'm not sure about this one because the NPCs actually sell them still, the saltpeter and the sulfur, so it's not actually that rare. Um, it's not hard. Again, like, what's your main purpose, right? If your main purpose is to craft millions of items, then yeah, of course that's so hard to find, right? To get those millions of sulfur saltpeter, that will be difficult. But if you think about it, like, realistically speaking, again, right? You only craft things that you need. You only craft, like, again, like, things that you need, that you want to have, like, literally only the bare minimum that you need, plus a little bit of saving, I guess. I think the amount of silver and saltpeter is still okay for now. Again, like, you don't really need millions of ammo, right? So yeah, like, I know you need silver and saltpeter. You want to make ammo, right? That's a little bit obvious, right? To make gunpowder, to make ammo. But the thing is, do you really need millions of ammo? That's the question that you should ask, right? I have 10,000 rifle ammo myself, and I only have like about not more than 30,000 rifle ammo in my stock. And it took me a while to actually exhaust all of those. And I only now craft those that, when I need that anyway. So yeah, to me it's still not a problem for me because again I only craft the things that I need for most of the part, right? So yeah, anyway, let's do one more time this one from Joshua. Pretty much what everyone else has said. Rats, radiations are way too high, loot sucks, durability of everything is going down way too fast. Loot sucks, enemies have been overbuffed, shop items are too expensive, creating XP needs rebuffed, quests are way too far away and don't give enough money, and the casino just feels like the game's trying to go pay to win, basically. Um, well, my friend, the thing is that this is mobile game. Every mobile game now is pay to win anyway. I don't see any problem about that. Of course, free to play is always nice, right? But you also have to think about the cost of the, like the server maintenance. Like the developers need to pay their creators, their designers, their, I don't know, moderators or something like that. I'm not sure. Like, yeah, like basically just to maintaining the game to be available in, let's say, Google Play Store or Apple Store. it costs money, right? So yeah, also the fact that the developers consider making game as their main job. I guess pay to win is always okay in most cases. um, what I can say is that pay to win is not necessary this time. In this update, still you can still go free to play, I guess, free to win, I guess. Yeah, even like people who still freemium, who don't have the game at the full unlock, the one that still waits, what is it, like a minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes in between typing chat. They're still, like being like that, right? They don't, like, oh, I'm kind of feel forced to buy the game now. Well, no, you don't, right? As well as for the other stuff as well, like pay to win, the one in the shop, that's actually unnecessary, like really, for real, like trust me, you don't need any of those. Like, let's say the thermonuclear stove, right? That one cost you 5,000 caps. Do you need that? I would say no. You can still do fine without that thing, right? And then after this, I believe in the Christmas, the vehicle, the Arctic truck or something like that, will probably appear again, right? Available for sale again for 10,000 caps, if I remember correctly. Do you need that? Well, no, right? Because I can still use my crash, my truck, uh, my favorite truck, which is the KRAZ or the crash. It's still doing great. It's still doing their job. So yeah, even Bellas, you can still use Bellas, right? You can repair that in the NPC now. Um, Also, considering that you can get lots of currency from NPC nowadays, you don't need that, right? Um, Everything that you find in the shop, like let's say the titanium tools, the titanium items, right? The titanium axe, knife, shovel, tools, whatever like that. Do you need that? No, because the steel version is still doing great, still doing its job. So, like consider this as for, people that actually want to support the game, and, the devs kind of basically reward them a little bit, right? By having these great items, right? And it's not OP as well, if you ask me. Like the titanium items, I believe they're only like 1,000 use, which is, just a little bit under 2 times more than the steel items, right? Take it this way, like two steel items can get you one titanium items, right? And is that bad? Well, that's only that, right? That's nothing special. You can still craft the steel items and so on and so on, right? Also, one thing as well that I noticed is that there is a house that that has bunkers, right? And then you can only open bunkers by using the bombs that you can only get by spending caps, right? And you get caps by buying caps packs, right? Do you need to open the bunkers? I would say no. The rewards inside the bunkers are not that great anyway, so yeah, like that's really unnecessary to do that. Do you need to pay to win? I don't think so. You can be free to play, free to win, and you can still enjoy the game. That's just my take anyway. But yeah, I think that'll be it for today's episode of the Art Survival about reading your feedbacks. Um, yeah, like I said as well, like one of you said as well, the game is about a kind of mixed, right? Mixed feelings, right? Some things are getting buffed, something is great, but some other parts also, getting nerfed here and there. But I think that's just to make the game a little bit balanced, so that you can experience the game in all of its contents, like to the max, right? If your polar armor got nerfed, then you might want to consider using the prospector armor, maybe the Ekran suit, the Ekran armor, or whatever, the Ghillie suit as well. Like if you want to gamble with the dodge chance, right? You can always use that. There's nothing wrong about that, right? Um, like all this nerf and buff stuff, I believe it's just for balancing the game so that it is, pretty much enjoyable, right? So that, you know, uh, basically they just want to shift the meta, right? Like the meta, so that people don't just use the meta, right? What's using the best things for them, right? So that they can explore the games a little bit more. But yeah, I think that'll be it for today's episode of the Art Survival. I hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know down what you're thinking, what your thoughts about the game so far, if you enjoy it or not. Even with all this nerf and stuff, surprisingly, people are still playing. Surprisingly, new players are still coming every now and then. Like I look at the chat, and there's a lot of people that saying they are in Tola and just needing some help here and there, right? Which is always nice for me anyway. Uh, Seeing new players keep coming, because that's just how it is with games anyway, right? Um, all people will leave, some will stay, but new players will keep coming, and that's what matters, I believe. But yeah, anyway, I think that'll be it for today's. I've said that 3 times by now, but yeah, subscribe if you haven't already, if you enjoy this kind of stuff to support the channel and whatnot. But yeah, until then, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay healthy. I will see you again very soon, and see ya.